All right, you all, it's Friday, the run up to Easter Sunday, and today I am talking about the local community of Ogoni in Nigeria who recently sued Shell, the oil company, in a high court case in London. This case has been going on for a while in Nigeria and has finally been allowed to proceed in a court in London. You don't want to miss this. Coming up, when injustice is real. Okay, the Ogoni and Bile people in the Niger Delta area of Nigeria have been allowed to take their case against Shell, the oil company, to a high court in London because Shell is registered in London. This case has been ongoing for 10 years. Yes, 10 years. As of last week, the Niger Delta community has been fighting to get access to some critical documents to reveal the extent of Shell's involvement in the operations that led to the pollution of their community. The people of the community of Ogoni and Bile allege that Shell was involved in years of oil spilling that contaminated their rivers that were previously used for fishing and for farmers to make a living. Now, some weeks ago, His Royal Highness King Godwin Bibi Okpabi, the ruler of the Ogale community in Ogoni land, Nigeria, came to the United Kingdom. He came to London for the trial in the High Court, and he carried bottles and bottles of water drawn from the wells of the community in the Niger Delta. And apparently the water smelt really, really bad. In court, the king stated that, and I'll read it for you. He stated that a people have been completely destroyed, people's way of life destroyed, people's only drinking water destroyed, which is the underground water aquifer, has been poisoned. People's farmland has been completely poisoned. People's streams that they use for their normal livelihood have been completely destroyed. The Bile and Ogoni community are seeking justice. They allege that the leaks and spills from Shell's pipelines and infrastructure have breached their rights to a clean and healthy environment. Now, when scientists from the UN Environment Program visited the region to investigate, they discovered that there was extensive soil and groundwater contamination. Roots were choked with chemical-like substances at levels that were more than 900 times the World Health Organization guidelines. And the surface of the water and streams were covered in thick layers of oil. Fish had fled or died, and farmers struggled to grow crops in fields soaked with oil. It was so bad. Follow-up testing carried out in the same area last year, 2024, found that levels were even higher. It was 2,600 times the WHO guideline. Shell, on the other note, is arguing that it cannot be responsible. The company stated that its Nigerian subsidiary, the Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria, the SPDC, works closely with the Nigerian government to prevent spills and respond to them and clean them up when they happen. Shell is also alleging that oil is being stolen on a massive scale in the Niger Delta region, and that this criminality is a major source of the pollution and spilling of oil in the community. What do you think about this case? Do you think the contamination of the Ogoni water is as a result of poor management by Shell? Or is it as a result of the criminals who steal the oil from the damaged pipelines on a massive scale in the Niger Delta region? You know, I don't have all the facts yet, so I'm waiting for the case to happen so I can analyze all the legal arguments. But those of you who know, those of you who know lots about this case, please share your thoughts. I would like to hear your take on it. It would be nice to have some comments, some feedback, to know how you feel about this case. The Ogoni and Bile community are using some heavy UK lawyers from the London law firm Lee Day. In fact, two of the lawyers have the pedigree and the expertise in international human rights law, and they've spent much of their time working on behalf of Nigerian individuals and communities in claims involving allegations of environmental harm. They have the experience in Africa, and they have experience in access to justice issues. These lawyers are arguing that, number one, oil pollution by a private company could be legally construed as a violation of a community's fundamental rights under the Nigerian Constitution and African Charter. They're arguing, number two, that whether Shell can be held responsible for damage to its pipelines due to the oil theft, or if they can be held responsible for the waste produced as a result of illegal refining of spilled or stolen oil that is endemic in the Niger Delta. This case is another interesting case because although it will be tried by a British judge in a UK court, they will apply Nigerian law. Yep, they are applying Nigerian law. And some weeks ago, when the case went to the UK High Court, the judge, in this case, Mrs. Justice Juliet May, heard from some senior Nigerian lawyers, I won't mention names, who flew into the country to explain what the law is and how it should be applied. The case is set to go on full trial in late 2026. I can't wait. I will bring you updates. Now, on to my next case. The case of the recruitment agencies who defraud Nigerians who apply to come and work in the UK care sector. Since 2022, the UK government has been running a visa scheme that's designed to allow foreign medical professionals and care workers to come to the UK to work. To apply for the visa, candidates must first obtain a certificate of sponsorship, what we call a COS, from a UK employer who is licensed by the Home Office. The Home Office handles immigration matters, amongst other things. It's this COS document that is being exploited by rogue agents in the UK, and Nigerians at home must be very careful so they don't fall victim. Let me try and explain how it works with some of these rogue agencies. It's a bit complex, but I'll try. Some of the scammers who set up these rogue agencies in the UK are actually Nigerians. Yes, you heard it. Nigerians scamming their own. So, what they do is they set up bogus agencies that don't exist. When you check their website, the site has all the paraphernalia of a genuine agency. Then they recruit agents who can help them get care homes that they can work with to provide jobs for Nigerians who come to the UK. Then the agency would pay, say, £2,000 or $2,600 for each care home vacancy the agent is able to get, and offer £500 as commission to the agent. The agency would then sell the vacancies to candidates back home in Nigeria, charging Nigerians who are desperate to come over an arm and a leg. One of the Nigerian-owned agencies that was investigated here in the UK is Career Edu, based in Harlow, in Essex. There's been a lot of complaints online about this scam. One of the people who complained is Praise, a young man in his 30s from southeast Nigeria who paid Career Edu more than £10,000, which is $13,000, for a job in the UK. He says he was told he was going to be working with a care company called Efficiency for Care, based in Clacton-on-Sea. It was only when he arrived in the UK that he realized the job didn't exist. Wow, almost a year later, he found a position, thankfully with another care provider willing to sponsor him to remain in the UK. So far, I know of 2 Nigerians, and there are many more stories that we keep hearing about Nigerians who have come to the UK on COS visas and have found themselves stranded because the agencies lied to them or took thousands of pounds off them with no jobs to offer. As I speak, some Nigerians are facing deportation if they can't find an alternative employer within a certain period of time frame. When rogue agencies promise work in the UK under the guise of a certificate of sponsorship, a COS, but the job does not actually exist, multiple human rights and labor rights violations occur to the individual. You just have to know this. Firstly, the right to work in just unfavorable conditions is violated under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights UDHR Law, Article 23. Secondly, freedom from forced labor or modern slavery under the UK Modern Slavery Act 2015 is violated. Thirdly, right to be free from deception and trafficking under the UN Protocol to prevent, suppress and punish trafficking in persons is also violated. Do you know anyone who has recently been scammed by these scammers? If you do, share your story. Share your story. Nigerians, if you find yourself in this situation, you can reach out to Injustice Israel. I will be happy to provide legal advice. Our handles will come up on the screen. My suggestion to Nigerians is this though. Number one, do your research before you come to the UK on the promise of a COS visa that carries a job with an agency. Do your homework. Do your research. Number two, check the UK Home Office's list of licensed sponsors. Search by company name. If the employer is not on this list, they cannot legally issue a COS. Even if they are, check the type of visa they are licensed to sponsor. For example, is it skilled worker? Number three, UK immigration law does not permit charging for sponsorship certificates. It does not. A legitimate UK employer or agency should never ask for money to secure a job or visa. Number four, check online. Check online reviews or complaints about the agency. Check what people are saying or talking about regarding the agency. If all of the above fails and you are still in doubt, contact Injustice Israel. I will be happy to guide you. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.